Well, hello and welcome to the Movie Paradise. I am your host, Nathanael Molnár, and this is our spoiler discussion for the new film Bumblebee. So, if you have not seen the film yet, do not listen to this. Come back later after you have seen the movie and join us for our spoiler discussion. And with me to be talking about Bumblebee is our co-host, Rob Giachinta.
Thanks for being here.
What's up?
So, we are talking Bumblebee. So, Rob, what are your first thoughts, first impressions of Bumblebee?
This is, in my opinion, this is definitely the best Transformers movie since the third one. Mm-hmm. I like the first and the third one. I've grown up loving all the Transformers movies until recently once I've gotten older. And I agree, I've grown more sophisticated with how my brain works when watching movies. And after watching Transformers the last night, that was horrendous. So I think
This man was excited.
I think they really... I wouldn't say this is a perfect movie, but for Transformers, I think they've righted the ship and they're headed in the right direction. And I liked a lot of this movie, and I would firmly say that I would be there opening night if they make a sequel or another Transformers movie.
I'd say we come from different backgrounds on this because you grew up loving Transformers. I never really cared about Transformers. I never watched the show or any of the movies or the toys or anything. This was the first Transformers movie I've actually ever seen.
What?
So we definitely come from different backgrounds in this with different expectations.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I definitely liked it. And I would say, I think for the first, 20 minutes or so, I was not into it. Cybertron... I didn't really care about any of that. I figured that meant more for someone who actually cared about the characters. For me, it was just, oh, great, giant robots fighting each other.
The CGI wasn't great.
Yeah. It didn't mean much to me. But once we actually met Haley Steinfeld, and I think she's, the heart of the film. Yeah. And once you have her and her interaction with Bumblebee, that dynamic is what makes the movie for me. So once we got to that part of the film, I loved it. I thought that was great. And then... honestly, lots of the action in it, I wasn't that invested.
I like the Transformers action. So I forgot to talk to you about. So I forget which review I was watching, but on another review I heard someone say that they thought that the Haley Steinfeld character was pretty much exactly like her character in Edge of 17, except she knows how to fix cars.
I don't think so.
Really? I felt a lot of rebel angst with her, but I felt the
only similarity is she's an awkward teenager.
In Edge of 17, I thought she had a lot more she felt a lot more raw in that movie than she did in this one.
Well, she definitely had more
similar. They
depth.
both lost their fathers.
Yeah. I don't think she's necessarily the
Both
same
their
character.
mother loved the other kid more.
I think there are similarities.
Well, there's rumors that the lady from Edge of 17 worked on the screenplay.
Yeah. So I think there are similarities, but I don't think it's the same character.
Yeah, I wanted to see what you think.
No, I can definitely see where there are comparisons to be made. But, so I think Haley Steinfeld is fantastic in this movie. And I think she makes the movie.
Agreed.
She makes the movie.
I think her and Bumblebee together maybe.
Yeah, but I really got into her character, and I liked her character a lot.
And Bumblebee.
I liked Bumblebee. I loved them together. Their dynamic was perfect. Their back and forth and everything that happened with that, I loved that. That was the highlight. The whole movie was literally start to finish, just the two of them in their garage. Perfect.
The problem with every Transformers movie, and I will admit it, is the military subplots. Because this was your first military... Trust me, there's a lot worse ones than this one. Tony Hale was in the last one as it wasn't really a military subplot, but it was more like a scientist subplot. And it was whenever they had their subplots, this terrible. The reason why I think this movie was better than a lot of the other ones is it only really had one major subplot with that. In the other ones, there's a CIA subplot, there's a military subplot, there's a government. There's so many subplots that are ridiculous. So I was glad to see that this was
I'm tired just hearing that.
It was a much more smaller, more focused movie.
Let's
John Cena was
I was gonna say, let's talk about John Cena. Get the dude off out of these movies. Honestly,
he's decent in comedy movies. In comedies, whenever it's he's supposed to play a serious character or something, you can't take him seriously.
I feel like my aunt could have delivered those lines better than him. Literally,
they're called Decepticons.
That doesn't alert anyone. His lines were just... The lines weren't even that well written to begin with.
No.
And then the way he performed them was just... Someone had to have been, looking at this, the dailies and just been like, what the fuck were they thinking of getting this guy? They need to get someone else. Literally, of all people, you couldn't have gotten someone just a little bit better who could have... Honestly, I think if we didn't constantly have him weighing down the movie, I might have liked it even more.
I agree with that. I think he was the one detriment of the movie, to be honest. Because in my opinion, I really liked the Decepticon villains. I thought they were pretty cool. I liked
they were a little bit...
I liked all the Transformers action. I mean, I always have. But and I really liked the family dynamic too. I thought was Pamela
Adson, Adlin. Adlin. I think it's Adlin.
The son and the stepfather. He was. Yeah. They had some of the better comedic.
Yeah.
Because usually you haven't seen them. The comedy in these Transformers movies is some of the worst you'll ever see. In this one, the family dynamic comedy was actually funny because Shia LaBeouf's parents and the other ones are ridiculously bad. Their dog's humping friggin' another dog, and they're like, "Oh, there he goes again!" It's bad. I was very pleased to see that in this movie.
And I liked the boyfriend. I thought he was good.
I didn't really like how he kind of was just thrown into the story. Though.
I'll agree with that, but once he was in Steinfeld, I thought they had good chemistry, and I liked them on screen, and I wanted to see more of them, and I was rooting for them to get now, usually in any of these kind of this isn't a comic book movie, but any of these comic book movies or big franchise blockbuster films, when there are these forced romances, I'm never into
I really didn't feel like it was a romance. I thought it was more of a friendship. I know. Obviously, he had the hots for her, but in the end, I felt they were more just friends.
I felt like I think she was in
at the end. She warmed up to it. I think
the actors had great chemistry, and I think
the people who play the bullies though, I thought were bad. I didn't like them.
I don't even remember them.
The girls.
Oh yeah.
And they look like obviously Haley Steinfeld's not a teenager anymore. We know that, but she could still kind of play it.
Yeah, she can.
Those actresses look like they were 30 years old to play high schoolers. I'm sorry.
Because
they made fun of her dad's death too. I was like, Jesus.
There is a great scene with Bumblebee and a car involving one of those bullies. Highlight of the movie.
Oh yeah, that was
highlight funny. Of the movie. Literally, the whole theater was cracking up laughing. That was great. And there was some moments where I was laughing at the movie because of some of the dialogue is cheesy. Obviously, John Cena. I was laughing a ton at John Cena. And that was one of the moments in the movie where there was intended comedy, and it really worked for me.
Great.
I think if we're going into our final thoughts on Bumblebee, I think that Travis Knight. I've been excited for this movie from the beginning because it's Travis Knight. I loved what he did with Kubo and the Two Strings, and mostly I've just been excited to see a Transformers movie that's not Michael Bay. And I thought he didn't do a great job, but he did a good job. And I think that's what they needed at the very least was a good film. And I think that's what Bumblebee is. It's a good film. It has its highlights. It has Haley Steinfeld and her relationship with Bumblebee and that boyfriend character and the family dynamics. It has its strong points. It also has its weaknesses, like John Cena. And some of the subplots and some of the jokes don't work. And personally, I thought the action was fine, but it wasn't anything I was too invested in. So it has its good and it has its bad. I think I'm going to give Bumblebee a 3.4 out of 5.
And I really enjoyed the movie. The only kind of fault I would say is agree with John Cena and some of the dialogue wasn't as hot. And also, you can tell this movie is kind of some ways ripping off older movies.
Yeah,
it's a lot of E.T., Iron Giant, that kind of stuff. But you get over it.
I feel like though, I heard
it wasn't blatantly ripped off.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I watched some reviews and people were saying that it was literally beat for beat those movies. I felt like it was definitely inspired by it, but I didn't feel like it was blatantly ripping it off, like you said. I felt like it was different enough that I wasn't annoyed.
Stood on its own.
Because I've definitely seen movies where you're literally this is literally just this movie, except not as good. Mm-hmm. But with Bumblebee, it definitely had shades of Iron Giant and shades of E.T., but it was its own thing, and it was different enough that that didn't bother me.
Yeah. And I hope that Travis Knight gets to maybe not only direct the next Transformers movie, but help shape this whole universe, like they want to incorporate the G.I. Joe and the Power Rangers. I'd like to see him have his hand in the mix and try to help this universe grow, because I'm a big fan of all those properties.
So I guess I'll ask you, well, first of all, what's your rating of the film?
I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
All right. So do you think when we see the next movie in this Transformers universe, is it Bumblebee 2, or is it the next Transformers movie? Or do you think they might go with another spin-off?
I think we're going to see a G.I. Joe movie soon. I really do. Because they announced, I don't like the team they announced, but they announced a Snake Eyes movie coming out soon. But,
well, do you think they're going to try to tie that in?
Yeah,
they've been talking about it for years, but I don't know if they're.
In my opinion, I think Bumblebee's the start for their. I think they're going to start tying everything in now.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Why does everything need to be a cinematic universe? That's my thing.
I mean,
and if they don't, please tell me John Cena is not going to be part of the G.I. Joes.
Because at least in the Transformers movies, there's always like so many military members. Like you could have just called them G.I. Joe in the first place. Because there's just so many military people. But I don't know. Like if they do it, I'd be up for it. If they don't, I'm not going to be pissed about it.
So back to my question. Then taking G.I. Joe and whatever aside, the next Transformers universe movie, Bumblebee 2, another Transformers, or another spinoff of a different character, like an Optimus movie.
I think they announced an Optimus Prime movie too's in the works as well.
They did?
I could be wrong.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Maybe that or another I don't think they're going to go right and do a Bumblebee 2. Yeah. I personally don't think you'll ever see Haley Steinfeld again, really.
See, okay, that's the disappointment for me.
Because I see where you're coming from.
Because, like I said, what worked for this movie was that it was one Transformer and one human in their relationship. I feel like as soon, obviously it's different for you, but for me, the whole Cybertron stuff, I didn't care about that necessarily. I
don't think they gave you enough reasons to care about it in this one. Hopefully in the other ones they can.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like once you start adding in all these other Transformers and you start getting away from what actually made this one work, because we've seen so many Transformers movies where it's all the Transformers,
and those ones never on Cybertron. They never the problem with those movies is the human characters, and this one the human.
Well, no, I don't think it's that. I think it's the writing.
Yeah, but the human there's too many human characters. I think in the other one. Right.
I mean, this one had a lot of human characters.
Yeah, but
it only had one Transformer as the main character.
Bloated. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't see, and again, different for you, but for me, I don't see how a movie where it's all Transformers could work, or at least in this version. Because when we were on Cybertron, I'm sorry, all the dialogue was cheesy.
They gotta fix that. I agree.
I just thought it was so ridiculous, and the way to open your movie, especially for someone who's never seen anything Transformers before, this was my first real experience. That was not a way to really introduce me, because I just thought it was so cheesy and hammy, and I didn't care for it. But I know, sorry, I don't want to make you cry, but I don't know. I would be interested in another one if it is Bumblebee and Haley Steinfeld and Travis Knight.
You don't think they could just have another human character that?
Well, I think also part of it is that this movie had a simple story, and it was about a girl in her car and her figuring out everything, because then you kind of fall into the Alien formula of every movie, it's a new ship with a new crew. They find the aliens, and if you just do the same thing again, new human, new Transformer, they find each other, and then you're just doing the same thing over and over again. You have to progress it. I'm more interested in seeing the next chapter for Haley Steinfeld's character, the next chapter with Bumblebee. I don't know if I necessarily care about seeing an all Transformers movie. I don't necessarily care, okay, well, now let's see this new human character and this new Transformer, and they do on an adventure.
And the Power Rangers and the G.I. Joes.
I hope they don't.
And the Thundercats.
I hope they don't.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'm telling... No, it's not. You're the one... Transformers last night gonna be awesome!
I will see every Transformers, but I don't... If they're good,
I'm telling you, if they...
I'll yell about them afterwards.
Is there a way to do a cinematic universe where you have Power Rangers and G.I. Joe and Transformers, all of them? Yes, there's a way to do it. Do I trust the people who make these movies to do it well? I don't.
I think you have new people at Paramount that are writing the ship with them. Like I was saying, They had an incredible slate this year, I thought, of movies they.
But Transformers: The Last Night came out. Everyone's trying to go like it's a new direction.
Well, that was the
last year.
That was the last movie under the old regime. I think this is a movie under the new regime.
But I mean, we're not that far removed from the old. We're not that far away from it. We're 1 year away.
I personally think that they're stepped away from it. We'll see.
Well, the way I see it is just try focusing on making good Transformers movies first. Don't try worrying about...
Yeah, no, true.
Don't try worrying about... it's the same thing with Universal and their monster movies. They're already thinking of, 20 different movies and how to connect them. And
they already have, the cue card at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
That is, the most ridiculous, hilarious things now, looking back.
They got so far ahead of themselves that they just didn't even make a good movie. And I'm afraid that if they start trying, okay... Now let's do G.I. Joe and Power Rangers and wrap them all together. I feel like they'll get so far ahead of themselves that they can't even... They'll have one good Transformers movie under their belt, start trying to do all this giant extended universe, and it's just going to blow up in their face.
Remember when they had the picture of all Johnny Depp, Javier Bardem?
Half of them didn't... Well, most of them didn't even make a movie.
Pretty much every one of them, except for Sophia Boutella and Tom Cruise.
They were the only ones who actually made a movie.
Because they had Frankenstein's Bride. That was they built sets and stuff for that. They should have just made it and then just say, fuck it, it's its own thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Whatever.
So, alright, so...
That's it.
Yep. That's our spoiler review for Bumblebee. What do you think? Have you had a chance to see the film yet? Are you planning on going to see it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Well, once again, I'm your host, Nathanael Molnár. This is my co-host, Rob Giachinta. Thanks for being here, Rob.
Transformers, robots in disguise.
I think they even said that at one point. They're just robots in disguise. And I was like, oh,
they are!
All right.
It's awesome.
Alright, well, that's been our review. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content, and be sure to follow us on all of our various social medias at Movie Paradise 99. Thanks, guys.